Okay, now you're going to do some operations, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing with units of linear measure. You're just on this here. I've looked on those before. Perform the operation. It says regroup when necessary. Here's what that means. First, adding. You're going to put the units you have. You got feet and inches, so feet, inches. Okay, do your inches first. 3 and 6 plus 3 is 9, and then 5 plus 7 is 12. Now here's what regroup means. You need to look up the feet inches conversion ratio. 1 foot, 12 inches. Now look at that 12. Focus on that. Is that more than 12 or less than 12? It's less than 12, then I can't regroup. Okay, feet, inches, same thing. So do your inches first. You're going to add 3 3/8 plus 1 1/2 plus 10 1/4. Okay, so 15 1/8 is how many inches I have. Now add your feet. 6, 4, and 6 plus 4 is 10 plus 8 is 18. Now look at your feet inches. 12 is the conversion factor. Is this higher than 12? It is, so you need to regroup. Here's how to do that, okay? You're going to minus 12 from that, minus 12, and then add 1. You don't add 12 to this because 1 foot is equivalent to 12 inches. So I minus 12 and then add 1. So that's 19 feet, and that's going to be 3 1/8 inches. Now that's under 12, so it's good. It's simplified. Okay, now you're dealing with yards and feet. Same thing. So feet, 2 plus 1/4 plus 2 3/4. It's going to be 5. Yep. Then 3, 5, and 9, it's going to be 17. Now look at your yards feet conversion. 1 yard's 3 feet. 3 is the conversion factor. Is this higher than 3? It is. So minus 3 and then add 1 to that. And now you have 18 yards, 2 feet. Now that's under 3. Okay. Okay, 3 rods, 4 yards, plus 2 rods, 1 yard. So put rod and yards. So do your yards first. 4 plus 1 is 5. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now look at rods and yards. Right there, 5.5. This is under 5.5, so that's in simplest form. Okay, that's adding. Now subtracting is different. Okay, you're going to do this, kind of line it up the same way. Now do your inches first. 7 minus 4 is 3. Makes sense. Okay, 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 feet, 3 inches. Look at your inches foot. It's 12. This is not higher than 12. You're good. Now you run into a problem on the next one. You got feet and inches. Well, here's a problem. 1 3/8 minus 8 7/16 makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so what you need to do is this. This is what they call regrouping, but unlike addition, you regroup before you subtract, okay? And it goes the opposite direction. Look at your inch, look at these 2 inches and feet. It's 12 inches, 1 foot. What we do here is add 12, okay? And then subtract 1, okay? So 1 plus 12 is 13. So now I have 13 3/8, okay? And then 10 minus 1 is 9, okay? Now I can do everything what I was doing up here. So again, I need to make that higher, so I add the conversion factor and then subtract rather than the other way when I was doing the other thing. Okay, so 13 3/8 minus 8 7/16 is going to be 4 15/16. And then 9 minus 7 is 2. So there we have it. Okay, now you got 3 units, yards, feet, and inches. Okay, do your inches first. This minus this can't be done, okay? This minus this can't be done, so I need to do it. Again, what I'm doing here is what's called borrowing, okay, to subtract, and that's a concept that's kind of you've been familiar with since elementary, kind of. Okay, I need to make this bigger, so I go borrow from the feet. Feet in inches is 12, okay? So I added 12 and then subtract 1, okay? So now that's down to 1. This is now 14. And now I can subtract my inches. 4.15 minus 4.25. It's going to be 9.9. So that's how many inches I have. Now feet. 1 minus 2 is not going to work. So now we have to borrow over here, yards and feet. The yards, feet, okay, is 1 and 3. So you got to add a 3 to your 1 and then minus 1 from your yards. So that now you'll have 4 feet here and you'll have 15 yards here. But now I can take 4 minus 2, and that's 2. Then 15 minus 14 is 1. So with subtraction, if it's too low of a number to subtract, you have to borrow from the unit before it using the conversions. Okay, 5 rods, 3 yards, 2 feet, minus 4 yards, 2 yards, 1 feet. So we got rods, yards, and feet. So the feet, 2 minus 1, that can be done, that's 1. Rods, 3 minus 2, that can be done, that's yards, 3 minus 2, that's 1, and the rods, 5 minus 4 is 1. So I did not have to regroup. So remember, if you have a number too small to subtract, you got to borrow from the unit before it, okay? Add the conversion rate, and then you're going to have to minus 1 here. Okay, now you got multiplication. It's very similar to adding, okay? 7 feet 3, take them both times 2, 14 feet, and then you want to parenthesize that, and then 3 times 2 is 6 inches, okay? Now, just like adding, you want to make sure it's simplified. 12, can you get 12 out of 6? I don't think you can. Okay, next one, 12 times 5.5. Again, you're going to put feet in inches. Just do the inches first. 16.5. 6.666. Okay. Now look at your inches. Just like in addition, you got to re-look at the problem. Okay, that's over 12. So you're going to minus 12 and then add 1. So that's 67 feet, 4.5 inches. It's got to be in simplest form. Okay, 16 times 8 is going to be 128. So you got 128 yards and then 16 feet. This one's a little bit different, okay? Feet and yards is 16 feet higher than 3. Yeah, by a lot, okay? Now, here's what you do to simplify it here, because if you just subtract 3, you're still going to be higher than 3. So, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I stop at 15, okay, right there. So I'm going to subtract 15 from that. But I'm not going to add 1 because, again, 3, 6, here, I'll even show it up here the way I'm thinking. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You'll stop at 15, okay, because you can't go over, you only have 16. So you're going to minus 15, and then you're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, to your yards. So that's 133 yards and then 1 foot. See here, I don't have to do that because I just write 12, okay, the conversion factor, and then I'm not going to go to 24 because I only have 16.5, okay, so that wouldn't make any sense to do there. Okay, miles and rods. 294. Again, you're taking them both times 1.4. Then 5 times 1.4 is going to be 7. Now look at your miles rods. Miles rods, okay? 320. This is under 320. It's simplified. Again, watch that problem there. You're not, because if you just minus 3 and add 1, you're taking 3 away from 16 is 13. Well, you're still over 3, okay? So if you're still over, you make a list by 3s, okay? Stop, that's what you take away, and then you add what the multiple is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the last part's easy, okay? Division is quite easy, okay? So it's going to be 6 divided by 3 is 2, 9 divided by 3 is 3. The inches feet ratio is 12, conversion factor is 12, that's smaller than 12. Okay, 3.9 divided by 4, 0.975. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Obviously, that's well under the conversion rate factor, so it's in simplest form. Most of the time on division, I think mostly all the time they end up in simplest form. Okay, I'm going to divide 1 by 1 yards and feet. So we take 1 divided by 1 and 1/2. 2/3, so you can write 2/3. 21 divided by 1 and 1/2 is going to be 14. So 14 yards and then 2/3 of a foot. Now the yards feet's 3, but we can't get 3 out of just 2/3. Okay, and then the last one, divide each one of those by 2. So that's going to be 7 yards, 1 foot, and and then 3 inches. Okay, 3 inches to feet, 12, that's lower than 12. Feet, yards, yards and feet's 3, that's lower than 3, so that's simplified. Okay, basically the hardest part is the subtraction. Okay, remember how to borrow. If a number is too small, you're going to have to add the conversion factor, but you got to go to the column before it and then subtract 1 from that. Okay, let me know if you got questions.